Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. In this video, I want to talk about the fundamentals, going back to the basics, and that is how to build your portfolio. I'm going back to this rule that I've created long ago, back in 2017, and that is the 50-25-25 rule. And I do think this is a good time to bring it up once again because of how the market is behaving and also because of how many new people are in the game and they really don't know how to build a good portfolio or follow good strategies. So today in this video, I'm going to tell you guys exactly how to build it and what's the reason behind it. It's been something that worked very well in the past, and now I'm doing it myself, and it has been tremendous, and I think you guys will gain a lot from this. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel if you are new. 2 streams every day. Weekends a little iffy for me, but still, I do stream. I try to stream 2 times a day on the weekends as well. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter and also Facebook. Speedy, that's right. I did have a very, very, very late night stream yesterday, talking about how altcoins, or at least some of them, are bargains. And they took a dip yesterday, and today they've actually gone up quite a bit, despite the fact that Bitcoin is slightly down. So this is why I think having a good portfolio is definitely needed right now. All right, so those of you guys already here, welcome, and let's do this. And I'm bringing back an old PowerPoint, a favorite. I modified a little bit, but I found it from 3 years ago. All right, so here is Bitcoin right now, right a little bit below $60,000. Now, I think according to indicators, it was overbought. So now it's just kind of taking a breather right now. But when Bitcoin is taking a breather, that doesn't mean the altcoins are. A lot of altcoins I mentioned that was kind of stagnant or kind of dipped a little bit, they're coming up in a big way today. But overall, Bitcoin is still just kind of doing its thing. It did break below the top trend, the top channel line that I've been showing you guys for the last few days. Eventually it's going to break. But right now it's holding. If it continues down, keeps going down, it could go down possibly around 58,000-ish, right? Which would be a previous top before. So if it continues to go down, it could go down to about 58,000. But right now, Bitcoin is looking damn strong. This coming week could be tremendous for not only Bitcoin, but crypto overall. So I'm looking forward to it. But right now, Bitcoin is taking a breather, and that's quite okay. I think that's quite okay, seeing how if you look at the overall market cap, it's still at $1.8 trillion. And things are doing pretty well at this point, right? But just like I said yesterday night, there are a lot of altcoins that, they're going sideways. They may have dipped a little bit, right? But this is the time to dollar cost average. That's the name of the game, right? Dollar cost average when things are low, hold, and then wait for gains, and massive gains or life-changing wealth, like I always say. All right. So before I get into coins, I want to get to the main topic, is this portfolio strategy and why it's important. So let me bring up my nifty PowerPoint here, and first go over this fundamental thing about gains, because there are different types of gains. All right, there are fiat gains, and then there are BTC gains. And BTC gain trumps fiat gains, because those of you guys that's in the game and you believe in Bitcoin, you know that you want to gain as much Bitcoin as possible right now, because fiat depreciates hard. And because of inflation, overprinting, everything that you've been hearing, fiat gains, although nice, BTC gains is what you want, because BTC has been going up tremendously, and according to Pomp and Michael, 200% year over year of gains versus fiat. So here's the thing: there's 3 types of scenarios for how your portfolio is performing daily. Okay, the worst case scenario, the absolute worst case scenario, is your BTC ratio goes down and your fiat decreases, okay, to the negatives. That is the absolute worst scenario. And that happens when you're too greedy, you have too many altcoins. So when Bitcoin dips, your altcoins dip further. So you're losing the BTC ratio, basically the BTC value of your portfolio. And also your fiat decreases because now you're majorly in the red. That happens from time to time. Sometimes it just happens, right? But that is the absolute worst case scenario. But here's the thing. This is where some of you guys may not be used to this, where you rather gain on BTC than fiat. And it's a weird concept to get, but this is what you should really strive for, in my opinion. Everything is my opinion, guys, by the way. And I like to say everything I'm about to say is not financial advice, but this has worked well for me. And that's why I'm sharing you my opinion. Now, the better case is that your fiat either stays the same or decreases, but your BTC ratio goes up. And that is very, very good. That I consider that a win. So what does that mean? Well, that means, like, let's say BTC takes a breather like today, but your altcoins also takes a breather or goes down, but it goes down less than Bitcoin. So your overall portfolio value in terms of BTC actually rose up while your portfolio is negative with fiat. So think about that for a second, okay? So let's say your portfolio started out at 10,000 yesterday, and today is at 9,500. It went down $500. So fiat went down. However, the number of Bitcoins that you hold now went up because your altcoins went down less than BTC. So that is a win in my book, although that's not optimal, but that's a win. That's definitely a win. And of course, the best case scenario is that your fiat also goes up and your BTC ratio also goes up. And in that case, right, then you're winning. You're winning it all. Best case scenario, your portfolio went from 10,000 to 12,000 and your BTC ratio, number of Bitcoins, the value of your portfolio went up because altcoins went up faster than Bitcoin, right? So these are the three scenarios in terms of your gains or losses. But of course, you want to strive for best case. But even if you don't get the best case, what you want to strive for really is the better case, right? Even if you lose in fiat, you want to concentrate on gaining on BTC if you can. And that's where this 50-25-25 rule comes to play. All right. So moving on to the next slide, if I can move on to the next slide. So there's two ways to increase BTC ratio. I mean, really, if you think about it, how do you increase the number of BTC in your portfolio? Number one, you buy more BTC with money, with fiat. Or number two, you buy altcoins. That's really it. I mean, there's a third way. I should have added that. Third way is to trade. To try to day trade, which some people are successful at. Some people are very not successful. I hear from a lot of traders that over time, had they just bought and held, they would have made more. Some traders will argue, no, I made millions with trading. So there's a third way. I should have added that in there, but I thought I'd just mention it. But really, there's two ways to increase your BTC ratio or BTC overall, right? And you know what? That's why I'm going to cover number two. Obviously, number one is pretty obvious. So that's why I'm going to the 50-25-25 rule in terms of portfolio allocation or breakup. So 50% in Bitcoin. I think that is a necessity. It doesn't matter how hot altcoins are. You don't want to go too heavy into altcoins, or it'll lead to that worst case scenario where you're losing on BTC and also you're losing in fiat, because there are situations where that does happen, especially if you're too greedy. And why do you want 50% Bitcoin? Well, it's obvious, right? You have that stability of Bitcoin in either direction, up or down, right? You have that stability with Bitcoin where it doesn't go down nearly as much as these altcoins, and it still goes up in a big way. There's still solid gains to be made. Even at $60,000, many, including myself, think it's going to be well past 100, 200, 300, 400, 500,000 in the future. So there's still plenty of gains. You'll get solid gains basically every month from now on until it tops out, and then that may never happen. But you're also getting stability so that if the market does retrace, or if there's F2 pool dumping, or there's a futures expiration, or if there's something else going on behind the scenes, right, it doesn't come down nearly as hard as the altcoins. So that's why 50% in Bitcoin, definitely needed for stability, and you get solid gains. Now, 25% of the portfolio, I believe, should be in big caps. And I'm talking about big caps, altcoins that's 10 billion plus. 10 billion plus, which these days, there's a lot. Before there's not that many. These days, there's quite a bit. And what big caps provide is some stability. They don't go down nearly as fast as some of the smaller caps. And the point of holding them is you get faster gains than Bitcoin. So when things are good, in theory, they do move faster than Bitcoin. Now, not all the time. Like this last week, a lot of people have been disappointed in big caps like Cardano or Chainlink, right? But if you look at over the last 3 months, 6 months, they have solidly outperformed Bitcoin in a big way, significant way. That is why I think 25% in big caps is also good, because you have some stability, but also you could utilize them to gain on Bitcoin and increase your overall BTC value. Right. Lastly, is at 25% in mid to small caps. Right. Mid caps is anywhere from 1 to 10 billion. And small caps is anything under sub 1 billion. And there's, of course, you could break it down. There's like micro caps, which could be under 100 million and so forth. But the point of mid and small caps is to give you tremendous gains. Tremendous gains. Some of the ones I've been talking about, especially with DeFi or NFTs, they're small caps. They have gone up 200, 300, 500, 600, 1,000% within the last few months. So they definitely can carry your portfolio in a big way, in a huge way. But you got to be careful, because when things do turn south, and they often do, they crash down just as hard. But right now, what I'm noticing, especially with mid caps, there's a lot that could hold their ground. That they don't really sell off as hard as, say, they did a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? So that right now, I'm just seeing that things are a little bit more solid, a little bit more quiet. When there are sell-offs, yes, they do still sell off faster than Bitcoin, but they also recover quite fast too. And especially the good ones, the ones that have a lot of momentum, they've been holding really, really well. So this is the 50-25-25 rule. So previously, in 2017, 2018, this is what I held. And then I deviated a little bit to more like 99-1. When I say a little bit, a lot. Because I wanted to hold as much Bitcoin as I can during crypto winter. But now that things are doing a lot better, that's why over the last month or so, I've been saying, I think it's better to be diversified, to start moving towards a lot of altcoins, right? And that has worked out tremendously. And as Bitcoin continues to go up, I think this rule is going to help many in a big way to give you that stability, but also give you that growth. And this could carry you very, very far in terms of gaining overall, gaining as much Bitcoin as possible, or gaining as much fiat as possible, so that one day you can afford this in your driveway. All right, so that is the 50-25-25 rule. So now I could show you guys some of the altcoins I've been talking about that could really help your portfolio. So I mentioned about big caps, anything above 10 billion. And there's a lot that's above 10 billion, but honestly, it's the top 10. If you look at the top 10, you minus Tether, it's basically the top 10. So what is there in the top 10? Of course, Ethereum is the big dog in terms of protocols, right? Can't go wrong holding Ethereum. Also Binance Coin, Cardano, Polkadot. Now, Uniswap jumped up tremendously too. So they are now a big cap. Also Chainlink. Now, some of you guys will argue that you want to hold on XRP or Litecoin. Those I would not do that. XRP is still too much uncertainty with SEC. Though there's rumors that they're going to settle soon. I don't know. Ripple just announced that they're selling off MoneyGram. Because MoneyGram no longer wants anything to do with XRP. So that's a big blow also. But to be fair, they are holding, and they're still at 20 billion. And Litecoin, I just don't like because I've mentioned many reasons, but ultimately, if you take all the personal feelings out of it, it just doesn't perform as good as Bitcoin. So the point of holding a big cap is to gain on Bitcoin, and when you're holding a big cap that doesn't gain on Bitcoin, that only lags, then there's no point. Then you're losing out. So you don't want to do that. So that's why I don't like Litecoin. But all the others, they have done tremendously well. And to prove that point, because people always live in a moment. So people are thinking about the last week or two, and they're like, oh man, these guys really suck, and they don't really gain on Bitcoin at all. Well, let's look at this. Let's do last 3 months. And where are these? I don't want altcoins. Top 100 or top 50. And then the sector, I don't want change. I want the market cap. Here we go. All right. So this is what I'm talking about. So people that live in a moment, they're like, okay, these big caps don't really outperform Bitcoin, right? So going back 3 months, this is how you could tell. Ethereum did in a very, very tiny way. In the last 3 months, it grew faster than Bitcoin by 8%, which is insignificant, but still, it's 8%. But look at Binance Coin. It's 800% growth versus 200% growth. So you would have gained on Bitcoin tremendously. Same thing with Cardano, 600% versus 200%. Polkadot, 600% versus 200%, right? This is why over time, these big caps do move faster than Bitcoin, at least right now, at least during periods when things are very hot and heating up, right? This 2021 year, where basically this is the tail end of a cycle where everything goes parabolic. But that's why, holding on big caps can give you tremendous gains, even though there's periods of time where it seems like there's nothing going on. But to prove my point about XRP and Litecoin, look at XRP's 3 months performance is negative 10%. If you held on XRP for the last 3 months, you would have lost out on 200% gains. 200% gains. And in fact, you would be down 10%. That is horrible. Litecoin also. Litecoin last 3 months performance 170%. You're gaining on fiat, but you're losing against BTC because it didn't grow as fast as BTC. So that's also a concern, right? This is why you don't want to hold on to big caps that don't outperform Bitcoin. Otherwise, you're losing Bitcoin. So that's why, I mentioned ETH, Binance Coin, Cardano, Polkadot. They're solid big caps to be holding on to, right? Now, mid caps. Mid caps is where it gets really, really interesting because it's a huge number of projects that's between under 10 billion and 1 billion, right? And these are the ones that have grown tremendously. Some of them within a very short amount of time. For example, if you go down the list, Dogecoin it's nearing a big cap, right? Dogecoin has done very, very well. 6 cents now. You know what? Maybe I should just use this and kind of show you guys the example of how much they have grown. Dogecoin within the last 3 months grew a staggering 1,800% in the last 3 months alone. A lot of that is due to Elon pump, but still, Dogecoin has been a favorite meme coin in the community for a long time. And you know what? Now, people that's been holding on have really, really been rewarded. Who is someone spamming? Yeah. He's gone. Now, take a look at Luna. This is a project I covered not too long ago, maybe a month ago or two, right? They are up a staggering 3,200%. So if you thought that holding altcoins, is not worth it, especially small to mid caps, they can be, as long as they're good. As long as they're good, they're created by a solid team, and they have a good product that makes a lot of sense with a lot of traction. Luna is one of them. So now they're at $16. When I covered them, it was like $20. $2, $3. I forgot what. They have gone up tremendously. Theta is another one, up a staggering 900%. And they are doing very, very good things in decentralized streaming. I mentioned Uniswap, how they're a big cap now. They're up 800%. Aave, another one, up 361%, right, in a DeFi play. And you go down the list. Some of these have done really well, but they haven't outperformed Bitcoin, so that's where it's a concern. So that's why you got to pay attention. Cosmos, 260, so they're up better than Bitcoin. Solana, another promising blockchain I've talked about, up 800%. Avalanche, also 800%. But look at this. Chile's up a staggering 5,000% within the last 3 months. One that I've covered, and I didn't catch it when it first came out, but even a month ago, it went up tremendously, right? So now it's definitely a mid cap and growing and growing and growing. Others like VeChain, even though VeChain has been stagnant for a long time, but you know what? 300%. That's 100% better than Bitcoin within the last 3 months. You go down the list, there are a few others that have done really well. Hashgraph has been on an absolute tear recently, and I looked into it. I'm still not sold on Hashgraph, but I have to recognize they have been growing quite a bit recently. They've grew to 2.83 billion market cap. Huobi, tremendous gains. Kusama, tremendous gains. And you go down the list, there's a lot. Look at T-Fuel, that's part of Theta, up a staggering 2,400%, right? So this is the power. This is the power of mid caps. A lot of people only look at small caps because they feel like, I have to get a lottery ticket right away. But, this is why you don't want to ignore mid caps either, because mid caps grow tremendously. There's a big difference sometimes between a mid cap and a big cap, right? And this is why I always stress, don't always just look at ultra small caps. There's so many Q&A questions about, oh, look at this and this, and they're all like sub 10 million. But you just look at the ones that are relatively big already, I guess relatively speaking. They have good traction, good teams. They make tremendous gains. So this is why you want to have a diversified portfolio right now. Let's not forget about Engine. Covered them a lot. 1,500% gains. Matic, 2,000% gains. Zilliqa, Elrond, Mana, all tremendous gains. Going down the list, I've covered PancakeSwap up 2,300% within the last 3 months, right? And then there are others like Swissberg, which I haven't covered yet, but look at Voyager up a staggering 3,000%. That's crazy within the last 3 months too, right? Even though Voyager recently has topped out a little bit, has come down, Voyager tends to like just jump up whenever it just happens, right? And they're up, 3,000%. So Phantom up 2,000%. Terra USA, that's a stable coin, so I can't really say much about that. But that is part of Luna, which is why they're so hot. And you go down the list, there's tremendous gains. Terra Virtua is an NFT play I covered. They're up 1,600% recently. And Harmony, another one that I was introduced to recently, promising blockchain, up 1,300%. Dodo, some people talked about Dodo for 2,300%. You keep going. This is all mid caps. I mean, the mid caps, I told you, the list for mid caps is tremendous. You could keep going down and down and down. A lot of people talk about Telcoin, how they're coming up a staggering 4,600%, although I got off the bandwagon a while ago. But Clever up 1,800%. There's just so much. Den is up 1,500%. And this is still above 100 million, right? So The list goes on and on. So yeah, there's definitely a lot. There's definitely a lot. This goes back to my main point, right? Mid caps, small caps could definitely carry your portfolio. But, this is when things are good, right? When things are bad, like when Bitcoin fell down to 30,000 or 28,000 about 2 months ago, it fell down to about 43,000 maybe a few weeks ago. There's times like that when there's a dip, there's a breather, or there's some manipulation going on. The altcoins can dip quite tremendously. So you got to take the bad with the good. But that's why you don't go too heavy, because I know a lot of people just go 100% in small caps, hoping that, they'll become millionaires overnight. And during those downtrends, they get wrecked. So you don't want to go too greedy on those. All right, hopefully that made a whole lot of sense for you guys, right? This is why I think it's good to be diversified right now. But I'll turn to you guys for some Q&A. Me asks, what's a reliable place to buy altcoins besides Binance US, like Luna and Chili's? How about Matic? It's dumping so much. You think it'll go up? I think Matic will come up. It's a good layer 2 solution. Again, for those of you guys that don't know how to look up an exchange, you really need to do so. And here's the harsh reality. If you don't know how to look up an exchange, you really shouldn't be buying the coin. You need to learn the fundamentals first. For example, on Luna, you go in the market, you can clearly see it's being traded on Binance, KuCoin, Huobi, and all these, right? Bittrex. And if you want to know which ones accept U.S. residents, just go to them and see. For example, KuCoin does and Bittrex does. So you guys gotta know the fundamentals. If you don't know how to look up where something is being traded at, you probably shouldn't start trading yet. All right? So hopefully that answers that. B Pro and Harmony One. Harmony, yes, they're doing very well. B Pro is an ultra low cap, a micro cap that I covered not too long ago, and they are definitely seeing tremendous gains now. Tremendous gains. I forgot how low they were. I think they were at 8 million when I covered them, so they haven't gone up as much as say something like Chili's, but I think they have good potential. Around 20 million market cap now today, doing pretty darn well. They're in DeFi, they're in esports, they're in tokenization, they're in the business of making money, so they're doing very well. Harmony also, fantastic team, they're doing very well. Why is Omi pumping? Well, because they're in NFTs right now. They have a marketplace, and they have a lot of exclusive licensing with DC, with NFL, with others as well. So. Dago and Alpha, I can't really comment on either one. Haven't looked into them enough, but I know Dago is a DeFi project. I forgot what. Yeah, I looked at them yesterday. I take that back. I looked at them. They're an NFT creation, but I don't like the website. But I haven't done a deep dive on them, to be honest. Miguel, I think I just answered that. Rev. I don't know what Rev is. Rev Motorsports. Blockchain Motorsports. Okay. NFT play. Yeah, actually, this looks kind of interesting. I like cars. So this looks like an NFT play for motorsports. Where are they? They're on KuCoin. That's also good. Relatively low cap, doing pretty well. Hey, this actually looks like a pretty good project, James. I'm going to look more into it, but this actually looks pretty good. Is it still worth buying Chili's and Engine? Yes, I do think they both have tremendous potential. So yes. Have you looked into Kava? I don't know if you noticed. I have a Kava logo right on the screen. So yes, they're actually a channel sponsor. Kava is like an all-in-one DeFi play that's built with Cosmos SDK. They have their own product. They have their own stable coin. and they have like an equivalent of like a maker where you could basically put down collateral and borrow this USDX. Also, they have a hard protocol, which is equivalent to basically like Compound, but they don't have borrowing yet, but they have staking. And you know, they're coming out with the AMM, and they're very ambitious. So yeah, Kava, I'm well aware of. I covered them a while ago. Joy, out of that list, I'm a big fan of Flow and Chili's. Not into super farm, so hopefully that answered that. Will Tron be listed on Binance at US? My Tron is stuck. I have no idea. I have no idea. There's some controversy. Maybe not, because they raised the ICO, so Binance doesn't really list coins that had an ICO back in the day, so that might be why. Do you think Crypto.com can move to a big cap and launch in the mainnet? Maybe. Can they double from here is what you're asking, to 10 billion? Yeah, I think so. They certainly have good traction. I could see them going up, and I see the overall market cap moving up in a big way. So I think it could happen. And overall, they're doing pretty well. HDX got in on it. Will boom. I don't know about that. Maybe. What is HDX? XH. This Hydra Dex? Well, it's not even listed at. Cross-chain liquidity protocol built on substrate. Yeah, this looks exactly like Kava. It could be good, but what is with this website, man? I hate this font. It could be good. I'll take a look at it. There's a lot of stuff that's built on substrate that's part of the Polkadot ecosystem, but I find that they don't really move somehow. There's something weird about it. Dusk, they will provide Elrond with privacy layer for security tokens. Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good thing. I'm not a fan of security tokens at all. I get the usage, but I'm not a fan of them because regulators don't like it. So that's going to present problems. Privacy blockchain financial applications, yeah. So they're partnering with Elrond and providing a layer for privacy. I mean, it's not bad for Elrond. Elrond is making partnerships with everyone left and right. But I don't know. Regulators hate privacy. They hate private transactions where they can't track. So that actually might not be such a good thing. Ben, thank you for that. What do you think about Ren? I think Ren is interesting. Basically, they bring liquidity to DeFi projects, and they moved on to Binance Smart Chain also, in addition to Ethereum. So it's good. But I think they stalled out a little bit because DeFi stalled out a little bit. Right now, the craze is NFT, so I think that's why they're stagnant. But I don't think DeFi is going away anytime soon. So I think Ren is still a good project, although they might be stagnant for a little bit. And let's be honest, because they have gone up so much, taking a breather is okay. But you can see they're coming back up. So I think Ren is a good project. Crypto, yeah, I mentioned about Ecomi. I think they're good. They're a good project, but here's the thing, though. A lot of people don't realize that they're not a small cap anymore, because CMC doesn't list their overall, market cap. If you look at it, well, it used to be listed. Now it's disappeared. But yeah, Ecomi was listed at like 400 million market cap, and somehow that disappeared. But yeah, I mean they have good licensing, so I think they're well positioned for the future. Yeah, I see a lot of you guys are talking about B-Pro. When I came across it, there was a gentleman that kept super chatting me about B-Pro, and I kind of dismissed it for a long time. But I'm glad he introduced me to it, because I looked at it and I kept looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, this is a good project. So I actually created a dedicated video on it. A lot of you guys, I think a lot of you guys newcomers to the channel, but if you dig through some of my old videos, especially the ones under altcoins, like here's one from 6 days ago where I mentioned about Luxo, which I think is fantastic, and also B-Pro and LTO Network. They have all done very well since then, but even, you know, even if you go beyond that, there's some good ones too in the NFT projects and stuff like that. So a lot of these are doing very, very well right now. So if you haven't watched out some of these older videos, and when I say older, they're like only like a week or two ago, you should definitely take a look at it. Jimmy, StormX, I don't like StormX. I don't like him at all. But maybe they have changed, because I used to be in Storm, and they were all about creating micro gigs, getting into that space, also rewarding people, and then they turned themselves into like a giant coupon site. And I don't know if they have gotten away from that. Charles Hoskinson used to be advisor for Storm. I know that I don't think he talks about Storm at all anymore. Yeah, so now they turned themselves into a cashback site or app. I guess it's okay, but there's so many of these out there, right? Do they pay you back? And I'm guessing they reward you with StormX. So, yeah, I didn't like the direction they changed. But, you know, I'll take a look at them again, see if they're worth getting into. Just keep in mind, guys, I know sometimes you guys look and you see, oh, it pumped up. Right now, there's a lot of things that pump. But a lot of them that are not good, they will dump immediately afterwards. But the good ones do hold their gains. So don't be fooled just with like a single day pump. Crypto Commons, appreciate that. That's a pretty good Fox anime right there. Hi, what about Unistake? Unistake, I did a sponsor review recently, and they're interesting. They're a layer on top of Uniswap, where they allow you to provide to a liquidity pool and stake at the same time. But it's a unique system. It's a unique system where you have to utilize their layer, obviously. So it's a little bit different. Interesting concept. So I don't know if it's going to take off, but it's an interesting concept. Recently I found a few that is like a layer on top of Uniswap, which is quite interesting. I think there's one also called Unilayer or something. I found that the other day. Oh, shoot. Why is it not seeing it? Yeah, I think it's Unilayer. And this is actually pretty cool. It turns Uniswap into like a basic exchange, like what you would be used to, like with Binance and KuCoin. So look at this. Isn't this cool? So you don't have to mess around with Uniswap and the complications. You could just trade like a normal DEX or normal exchange. So there's some cool stuff out there. But whether or not this is gonna pump because it's a layer on top of Uniswap, I don't know. But there's some cool projects out there. Is KuCoin safe? Yes, it's been around since 2017. And I've been using them. A lot of people are. And a lot of these new projects, they're on KuCoin. And some of the ones that you can't get on Binance, because you can't participate, you can also get on KuCoin. Do you recommend stacking platforms? Yeah, you know what? I'm actually trying to Celsius right now and also BlockFi, but a lot of people use them. I haven't yet, but a lot of people use them, and they're making pretty good gains just by leaving their coins there. Do you think Mana will hit $5 by the end of the year? I don't know about that. 5x? Ooh, maybe as hot as NFTs are, maybe that's a possibility. That would place it right where like Theta is. I'd say that's within the realm of possibility. If you say 50, I'm gonna say no. But 5? I think so. I'm probably O's gun. I'm not gonna look at that. That just doesn't sound right. Funds disappear from crypto.com wallet. I don't know. You're saying that with a question mark. So did it happen to you? I don't know. I've never heard that before. What about Travala? They've been around. Travel site where you could use crypto, but right now, obviously, not a whole lot of people is traveling. So I don't know. I don't know if, how well they're doing. Cody, I do like. I like that project a lot. I like Venus, maker of DAO on Binance Smart Chain, basically. Um, yeah, but what is it? Kava is also in that space too. Seascape, NFT play partner with Binance. Seascape, I don't see it. Sorry, don't see it. Yearn? I'm not a fan of Yearn. Although Andrew or Andre, he has done some amazing things. Yearn got hacked like twice. I just don't trust it. But supposedly there's a grayscale trust that's coming out. That will help. Do I use a VPN? No, I do not. I should though, but I don't. Is Chili's going to keep going up? I think so. I don't think Chili's going to stop. I think someone just announced that their CEO said they're going to actually get into real NFTs. Right now, it's like more tokenizing, just creating tokens of fan clubs or football clubs, but they're going to expand. They're going to F1 racing. They're going to UFC. I'm sure they're going to get into NFL and NBA, and they're going to expand. And they're going to get into NFT stuff. Tokens of like fan-based items. I think their potential is huge. Do you think Bitcoin will hit 200,000 this year? Yes. I think that's a real possibility. I almost think that's a certainty at this point. I think Bitcoin's going to be at 100,000 and like right around the corner, maybe in the next month or so. And after 100,000, it's just going to keep gaining momentum. It's one of those things like a snowball effect. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the movement just becomes quicker and quicker. So I do think 200,000 is realistic by the end of the year. Casper IPO. I don't really pay attention to IPOs, or ICOs. So I didn't hear about it, but proof of stake blockchain optimize for enterprise and developer adoption. How is this possible? How is it that they raised 40.4 million out of 61 million before it even starts? I guess that's the pre-sale. Yeah, I can't speak to it. I don't know anything about it, but they did raise a large amount of money already. So I guess a lot of people really do like them. What's the best way to tokenize my Colombia real estate? I have no idea. I have no idea. B-Pro is growing. Yep, it is. There's so many players that's tokenizing. I don't even know which one's the best one, honestly. What do you think happens when Coinbase goes public? I think when it does, all the other exchange tokens will do very well. So I think that's what's going to happen. And Sol, Phantasma, I think it's good. I haven't done enough deep dive on them yet, but I think they're good. G-Swap, I don't know what G-Swap is. GameSwap, nah, I don't like them. I looked at them yesterday. All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Bitcoin is back up, 60,183, so not bad. Took a little breather, but you know what? I think this week is going to be tremendous for Bitcoin and crypto. I think Bitcoin is going to have a very, 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 very good run this week. I think this will get mass attention from the media, and I think overall the broader market's going to do well, so Bitcoin's going to do well. And I do think altcoins, they're going to do very well, especially the ones that kind of dipped a little bit recently, but I think it has a lot of potential to come back in a big way. And some of them are still moving up in a big way, so definitely pay attention. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the 50-25-25 rule. For those of you guys that are new, that you have no idea how to build a portfolio, stay with the safe side, but also be diversified, because it does pay. It does pay, and you can gain tremendously from it. All right, guys, that is it. I like all those, Urshan. So Smash out a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for my video tonight. It may be a little bit past 8 p.m., but make sure you follow me on Twitter and hit that notification bell so you get